Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome to KiniNews. I'm your host Prasad. It appears even winning a commanding two-thirds majority doesn't mean you get to call all the shots. BN wanted Hasni Mohamad as MB, but that's not what they got. It appears Umno has failed to push back after a higher power is said to have disrupted Johor Party Chief Hasni Mohamad's return as Menteri Besar. It was reported that 38 out of 40 BN assemblypersons in Johor had submitted statutory declarations supporting Hasni as the sole candidate for the Menteri Besar position. However, Machap assemblyperson Onn Hafiz Ghazi was sworn in as the new Johor Menteri Besar. The Umno elected representative took the oath as Menteri Besar in the presence of Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar at Istana Bukit Serene in Johor Bahru today. The 43-year-old is the great-grandson of Umno founder Onn Jafar. He was elected as the Layang-Layang assemblyperson in 2018. During the recent state election, he was fielded in Machap and won comfortably. Meanwhile, the decision not to reappoint Hasni as Menteri Besar has not sat well with Umno veteran Shahrir Samad. The Johor Bahru Umno chief said he was embarrassed to have campaigned on the platform that Hasni would be Menteri Besar. He added that he did not know how to face delegates during the Umno General Assembly after this turn of events. Hasni was clearly BN's favourite to lead the state. That's the message we got during campaigning and even at the press conference after BN won 40 seats. But what happened?
BN secured a two-thirds majority in Johor on Saturday. At a press conference that night, BN chairperson Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said he wanted to see Hasni Mohamad continue serving as MB. However, the coalition has since faced some obstacles in having their nominee for Menteri Besar sworn in. Hasni issued a statement on Sunday stating that he asked the party leadership to appoint a youth leader to lead Johor. This means Hasni will enter the history books as the second shortest-lived Johor Menteri Besar after Sahruddin Jamal. Sources told Malaysia Kini that Hasni's concession statement was issued following the Johor ruler's audience with Zahid. A source said the audience lasted 30 minutes. Sources said that a higher power was in favour of Machap assemblyperson Onn Hafiz Ghazi to be Menteri Besar instead. Onn Hafiz is the grandson of Umno founder Onn Jafar.
Najib was slapped with a 12-year jail term and a 210 million ringgit fine in the SRC graft case. However, his lawyers are at work to secure a retrial.
Najib Abdul Razak is hoping for a retrial over the 42 million ringgit SRC international corruption case. Najib plans to file an application for fresh evidence in his appeal, namely that Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali should not have heard the SRC case as then Kuala Lumpur High Court judge. Najib's lead defense counsel Muhammad Shafi Abdullah said should have recused himself from hearing the SRC trial against Najib, as the judge used to be a general counsel of Maybank.
Justice Nazlan should have disclosed because he is potentially a very important witness in the one MDB. So if he was going to be an important witness in the one MDB case, if he had disclosed, we could have raised necessary issues that he ought not to have been the judge to hear the SRC, because he would have got certain ideas about one MDB and therefore SRC, and therefore may have some prejudice to, this way or that way, we do not know. But nevertheless, you should not have heard, because you remember, the other judge was removed on the rumour that his brother was a chairman of a division of Umno Party, nothing else, and he was removed. So we want to use that as a basis.
Nazlan was recently elevated to a Court of Appeal judge. Shafi added that the application would be to adduce fresh evidence related to Nazlan's purported conflict of interest. This was on the alleged ground that Nazlan's tenure with Maybank coincided with the time when the commercial bank issued a loan to one MDB. SRC was a subsidiary of the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Nazlan had convicted and sentenced Najib over the 42 million SRC international corruption case in July 2020. Najib currently has an appeal pending before the federal court to quash Nazlan's ruling to convict him, as well as mete out a 12-year jail term and 210 million ringgit fine in the 42 million ringgit SRC graft case. Shafi said if the federal court allows the additional evidence related to Nazlan's past role in Maybank, then he expressed hope that this ultimately could lead to a rehearing of the SRC case.
Najib may have been BN's star in Johor during the election, but in New York it's a different story as an FBI agent revealed in court how much of Onn MB's funds was stolen.
FBI agent Eric Van Dorn testified in court that former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak received $756 million of misappropriated Onn MB funds. That's 3.18 billion ringgit today. Meanwhile, fugitive financier Low Taek Jho, better known as Jho Low, stole $1.42 billion of Onn MB funds, a whopping 5.97 billion ringgit at today's rate. The funds were misappropriated from the $6.5 billion raised in bond exercises Onn MB performed with Goldman Sachs. The FBI agent who worked on the Onn MB case was testifying in the bribery trial of former Goldman banker Roger Ng in New York. According to Bloomberg, besides Najib and Low, former International Petroleum Investment Co-Managing Director Kadem Al-Kubaisi also received $472 million misappropriated from the bond exercise. Meanwhile, the agent added that Ng received $35 million, while Tim Leisner received $73 million. According to investigators, Najib later returned $620 million of the funds. Najib claimed it went back to his Arab donors, but investigators say it was instead returned to accounts controlled by Jho Low.
Funding and allocation for the public healthcare system will become a key topic in the government's white paper. This comes after Khairi Jamaluddin admitted in Parliament that it's been below the optimum level every year.
Malaysian public healthcare is facing chronic underinvestment, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin told Parliament today. He said other middle-income countries similar to Malaysia spend at least 4% of their GDP on their public healthcare system. However, Malaysia spent only 2.58% of the GDP in 2020.
Alian Muhammad tepat dalam pandangan iaitu soal pembiayaan menjadi isu yang penting untuk sistem kesihatan awam negara. Dan boleh saya nyatakan di sini bahawa Malaysia sebagai sebuah negara yang berpendapatan sederhana tinggi telah pun melaksanakan pelaburan yang kurang daripada jumlah yang optimum setiap tahun. Malah saya boleh kata ada chronic underinvestment dengan izin terhadap sistem kesihatan awam negara.
Khairi was responding to Bukit Bendera MP Wong Hon Wai. The Harapan lawmaker asked whether the white paper being prepared for the reformation of the health system will include a discussion on increasing its funding. Meanwhile, Khairi also said the Auditor General's report from 2018 cited a lack of staff, overcrowding of patients, lack of funds and equipment at the emergency departments of government hospital.
Rafizi Ramli is ready to make a return to politics after he described some of Pakatan Harapan's strategies in recent years as madness.
Former Pandan MP Rafizi Ramli will be making his political comeback. His first move would be to secure the PKR Deputy President post, previously held by Azmin Ali. In a statement today, Rafizi said his goals were to pursue progressive multi-ethnic politics. He said PKR and Pakatan Harapan had become the third choice behind BN, Umno and Perikatan Nasional. He added that the latest developments after the Johor election suggest that progressive multi-ethnic politics is in danger. Rafizi said this is especially true if PKR and Harapan continue to fail in attracting fence-sitters. Nominations are expected to be held next month while the party election will take place in May. Rafizi became politically inactive after the PKR leadership election in late 2018. He narrowly lost to Azmin Ali in the race to be PKR Deputy President.
When I say undersea tunnel, perhaps Penang comes to mind, but in the future, it could be Malacca.
An undersea tunnel for a rail network which will link Malacca and Dumai in Indonesia is being planned by the BN-led state government. According to Chief Minister Sulaiman Ali, the tunnel will be built across the Straits of Malacca. He said this at a press conference after the launch of the Malacca Week at Expo 2020 Dubai at the Malaysia Pavilion yesterday. Sulaiman said the tunnel will be a long-term plan. The shortest distance between Malacca and Dumai is 47 kilometers. Commenting on the same matter, Malacca Senior Executive Councillor for Investment, Industry and Entrepreneur Development Abdul Rauf Yusof said so far one company had expressed interest to build the tunnel. However, he said the agreement and approval of the Indonesian government were required for the project to be implemented. He added that if everything goes smoothly, construction of the tunnel will take 4 to 5 years. The project is expected to boost the gross domestic product growth of Malacca.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.